Open up a tab, grab a seat, and pour a pint. It's time for the Beer Guys Radio Show.
You want free beer? Go to the brewery.
Dedicated to the art, science, and enjoyment of craft beer.
Yo, what's wrong with the beer we got?
Now, here are your hosts, Tim Dennis and Aaron Williams.
And welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We are radio for the craft beer movement, broadcasting from our AM 920 The Answer studios in Buckhead. And I'm Aaron Williams.
And I'm Tim Dennis. This week we've got Elliot Hogg, Greg Smith, and Brian Quinn in the studio with us. They're from Carrolton's first production brewery, Printers L Manufacturing Company. Guys, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Thanks for getting all the way from Carrolton to Buckhead here and braving the traffic.
Yeah.
It's not that, you're right, it's not that bad, exactly.
Well, I had to drive to Mississippi last week, and I was driving by, I saw Carrolton, I'm like, wow, they're a long ways from Woodstock there. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Great to come to
exactly.
the city.
That's right, yeah.
There you go, exactly. So, well, cool. We'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Brought some great beers. We're going to talk about those and drink them and enjoy them. That's always a good thing. So
that is the plan.
So, Tim, you just mentioned you've made a trip to Mississippi this weekend, over the weekend.
I had a nephew graduate.
Excellent.
So
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yes.
So I went over to Mississippi, and, of course, being there, I had to check out the beer scene
Of
a
course.
little bit. So I visited Lucky Town Brewing. They're in Jackson. Jackson's only brewery right now. So they're still, they beat us a little bit on the beer laws.
Yep.
Just by a bit, number 49 there. So they'll have direct sales as of July 1st. But as of now, they do tours and tastings, kind of like we do here. So I met Lucas, one of the owners there, chatted with him, drank his beer, had a good time there. So,
Cool.
Yep, got to enjoy some Southern Prohibition, Devil's Harvest, which
so good.
fantastic beer. Pace Magazine's #1 session IPA. And I had some barbecue, smoked collard greens.
Oh, see, that's good
So,
times right
yeah.
there. That's
So that was it, man.
Mississippi may lag in the craft beer world, but they do not lag in the barbecue.
They don't.
That's
Plenty
good
of
times.
barbecue and catfish over there.
Oh, it's good stuff right there. So we actually had a pretty busy week as well during the week. We took a trip to Wild Heaven, talked to Eric Johnson, of course, brewmaster there. Brand new double IPA coming out on tap. I don't think it's going to come out in cans, but it's going to be on tap soon, and brewery and a couple of distro as well. But that Good Vice double IPA.
Right. I think Eric said they may do cans for brewery only.
Okay, so maybe a brewery only
Right.
release type of a thing. But yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic double IPA. We were lucky to have that. Really enjoyed that one. Also gave us a couple of pulls of the Bright Tank from their Gravitational Wave that's coming out later this year. It wasn't carbonated, but it still was fantastic. I would just take a straw.
So
exactly.
Did you had the last Gravitational Wave?
Oh,
right?
absolutely,
The
yes,
bottle?
yes.
Fantastic beer. This is even better.
Yeah,
super smooth. Flavors are great. I really like that a lot.
The last year's had a little bit of smoke to it. This one didn't have the smoke, but it was just a really nice, clean flavor. I thought it was fantastic.
I thought it was
Delicious,
great.
too.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And then, of course, we rounded out the Decatur Avondale Estates trip with a trip over to 3 taverns. We talked to Joran and his crew from Verzet from Belgium. They were actually at 3 taverns brewing some stuff up, and we got to talk to those guys. So that was a lot of fun to do. So making waves in Belgium, doing some good times,
Brick
and then
Wild
Brick
Heaven,
Store,
3
that's right.
taverns, Verzet. Not a bad day, right?
It was a good day. It's always a good day when you're hanging out at the Brick Store and other things. So speaking of good days, let's check out Truck and Tap's Beers of the Week.
Crack open a cold one. It's the Truck and Tap Beer of the Week. Craft beer and food trucks in downtown Woodstock. Truckandtap.com.
And the folks at Printers Ale Manufacturing Company were kind enough to bring some growlers, some glass growlers of their stuffs. You guys are so new. You guys are working in production and trying to get the swag and everything like that together. But thanks for bringing in some of your beers today. What have you got?
Well, we brought in our Everyday Magenta. Our Everyday Magenta is kind of a fresh take on the American Amber style. It's got a light dry hop with some Azaka, and it's got a nice, rich malt backbone with some specialty malt, German Red X malt to give it that really deep red hue. We also brought our Everyday Cyan IPA. This one's definitely a very juicy tropical IPA. Double dry hopped with Mosaic, Simcoe, Cascade, and Belma hops. Clocks in at about 7%. Really, really dry finish. And then we also brought our Hibiscus Lime Goza as well.
Excellent.
I'm excited for that. I'm excited for all of them, but
Me too.
Hibiscus Lime Goza, that sounds just like my cup of tea.
I was going to say,
well.
yeah, you're the goes guy. I'm looking forward to that IPA, and this Amber's drinking really nice as well, so the Magenta. So we'll get back to those guys in just a minute, but first let's check out this week's headlines.
What's in the news? The beer guys have the scoop.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Time for headlines. Sponsored by Your Pie Perimeter in the Perimeter Place Shopping Center across from Perimeter Mall.
So this is the first week in a couple weeks where we don't have to talk about shenanigans from large beer companies. So that's kind of a nice little feat. Exactly.
Right.
We can always
have a week's break here.
We can always complain about it. Yeah, I'm sure something else will happen. But there is some interesting court news. Now, of course, Georgia, Alabama, and the South, we don't necessarily like our beer laws, and they could be changed. But you know what? We're not the only ones. Up in North Carolina, Charlotte craft brewers are taking their fight to court, and they're alleging cronyism from the state government. So two Charlotte craft brewers sued the state of North Carolina last week, arguing that their state laws limit their production are unconstitutional. So Old Mecklenburg and Noda breweries claim that the state's annual production cap and franchise law stifle competition, thereby harming consumers by artificially inflating prices and reducing consumer choice. Charlotte brewers have spearheaded the Craft Freedom Fight, so it's a bid to raise the 25,000 barrel cap on production before craft brewers have to enter a distribution contract to the wholesaler. So I guess you can self-distribute up to 25,000 barrels, and then after that, you've got to sign with a distributor.
Got to get a distributor, right?
Yeah. So the fight is not necessarily over for anybody in the craft beer world. Of course, more open beer laws are great. Of course, SB 85, and here in Georgia, opening up on September. Mississippi, like you said, are opening up there straight to consumer purchasing at the brewery, and Alabama's done theirs last year. So we're getting there, but there's still a fight in the works to go state by state.
Sure, always looking to get better, right?
Definitely. So now there's an interesting trend also. The Washington Post has picked up on this too. Of course, for years we've talked about the hoppy IPA, and of course, India Pale Ales are the biggest seller of craft beer styles in the country. But according to this article in the Washington Post, Pilsner is starting to make a comeback as well. And it's something that we've noticed in the area.
I called that like a year ago.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
See, look, you're way ahead of the trend. No.
We've said that, that Pilsner was picking up. I kind of figured it would. It was popular with the brewers. More breweries were making them. More people want drinkable beers. It didn't surprise me to hear that news.
No, definitely not. Of course, we've had that trend of how many hops you can put in and just crank up the IBUs and crank up the alcohol limit and put 10, 11, 12%. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of people who just want to sit down and drink a beer.
Right.
And drink a couple of beers and maybe 4, 5, 6% and not just get hammered off of one beer. So a good, easy drinking Pilsner. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm a fan.
With it, right?
Absolutely.
And it's a good alternative if someone has been a BMC drinker for a while, drinking your Bud, your Miller, your Coors. If they want to have something with a little craft flavor to it a little bit more, gives them an option. Good gateway beer.
It is a good.
Bring them into the fold.
And a good beer to pair with food, too, because, a lot of the times you don't want a super hoppy IPA to eat with your food because it kind of unbalances it out. And I've noticed that, an ESB for a little bit or a Pilsner or something that's kind of on the lighter side is a really good pair with food.
Absolutely.
So that's great. So speaking of food, speaking of beer, usually do that kind of thing on first dates. And I've been trying to get into this here for the past 3 weeks, but apparently the most desirable drink orders, if you're dating a woman, she wants you to buy a craft beer. That's
really?
The most popular, yes.
Okay.
So wine is number one. Craft beer is number two, but it's number one amongst females ordering for guys. So
wait, let me see.
So did I completely mess that up? Maybe I did, because I'm an old married guy and I don't take this information.
Women want to order beers for men, or women want their man to order a beer?
Women want their man to order a beer on a first date. So
yeah. Is that right, Becky?
That's right. Yeah, Becky wants her
yes.
to order a beer. Exactly. So
and
we'll
whiskey.
That's right.
So, yeah.
That's right. And then Jaeger at the end of the night. We're all set. No, but that's it. They said it's manly. It's a sign of masculinity, and so women. So take note, all you single gentlemen out there. Again, order a craft beer. Don't order one of them BMC beers.
Crazily manly then.
Oh, listen, I mean, just
I got that on lock.
Just ask my wife. Exactly, we're all set to do that. So yeah, and finally, interesting also story out of public radio. They're doing a story about craft beer becoming the new wine, and we've noticed this trend before too, because a lot of beer makers now are starting to do again more sour ales, more different varieties of flavors, and they're starting to overtake a wine for selection when it comes to restaurants and those types of things. And of course you did your pairing with at Rathbun's here a couple of weeks ago or a couple of years ago with
we did with your we took a nice brown ale in there to have with some nice steaks.
Yeah, so hopefully that'll be a trend that continues, because the more craft beer lists I see in a restaurant, it makes me very happy. So
yeah,
it's always
absolutely.
Good.
You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We are talking with Printers Elm Manufacturing Company this week. We need to take a quick break, but we'll be back right after this.
This is Nick Tanner with Cherry Street Brewing. You're on Beer Guys Radio.
The Beer Guys are back right after this.
Morgan and Lisa with Your Pie Perimeter here. We'd like to invite you to our store for a beer.
Is there anything better than pizza?
Yep, brick oven pizza that's made fresh and paired with a cold craft beer.
That's what you get at Your Pie Perimeter, located in the Perimeter Place Shopping Center by Perimeter Mall.
It's the perfect place to relax on the patio with a pint after work or bring the family in.
Follow Your Pie Perimeter on Facebook for all our beer events and specials, including beer tastings that you won't find anywhere else.
That's Your Pie Perimeter, located in Perimeter Place Shopping Center next to Chipotle. Tell them that the Beer Guys sent you.
Have you ever thought about owning your own brewery, but don't know what it takes to get one built? We're CRL Contracting, and we build breweries. We are the most experienced contractors in the state of Georgia when it comes to building new breweries and tap rooms, or expanding current breweries. If you've been to Orpheus, Second Self, or Scofflaw, then you know what kind of work we can do. Just give us a call at 678-546-3382 or visit crlcontracting.com for more information. CRL Contracting. We build breweries. crlcontracting.com.
If you're into craft beer, you need to check out Drink This Beer. It's a podcast from the creators of Beer Guys Radio. Tim Dennis and Aaron Williams talk to some of the best and most important brewers across the country and the world. So if you like to drink beer, pull up a chair and crack open the Drink This Beer podcast. Available on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's Aaron and Tim, the Beer Guys. If you're like us, no lunch or dinner is complete without a pint or two of craft beer.
Which is why Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock is always on our list. Tim, why do they call it Truck and Tap?
Well, the tap part is easy. They have 12 of them. Bottles, too. Not sure what to drink? All of their beer servers are Cicerone certified. And if you got someone who isn't a beer fan, not to worry. Truck and Tap carries wine, mixed drinks, and even handcrafted sodas.
As for the truck part, well, that's when it gets interesting. Truck and Tap features your favorite Atlanta area food trucks daily. That way, you're getting a different menu every day.
Check it out, Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock. Truckandtap.com. Let them know that the Beer Guys sent you.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Want some advice? Well, yeah. Well, here's all you need to know. Class is nothing before 11. Beer, it's your best friend. You drink a lot of it. Women, you're a freshman, so it's pretty much out of the question.
Now, back to the Beer Guys radio show.
And welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. BeerGuysRadio.com, broadcasting from our AM 920 The Answer Studios in lovely Buckhead, Georgia. And we are talking now to Printers Ale Manufacturing Company, the first brewery in Carrolton, Georgia. We've got Elliot Hall, he's a managing partner, Greg Smith, the owner, and also Brian Quinn, the head brewer, is joined us in the studio. So we got a full house today, Tim. I like this.
Full house. We absolutely do.
Yeah, definitely.
Elliot, so you and I actually met a while ago at the Second Self when they were doing, the Guild was doing kind of a meet and greet for breweries and planning at the time. So before you guys actually launched there. So
I had just come on, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's because I was thinking, I think it moved, it moved pretty quickly. A lot of times you'll hear new breweries come out, and I'll hear everybody so enthusiastic when they start. We're going to, they'll start in June. They're going to we'll open by September. And I'm like, no, you won't. Yeah, see? That's just kind of the way it goes. But you guys did move, I guess, fairly quickly considering everything, right?
It seemed pretty slow to me.
When
you're writing checks, you want things to
That's right, yes.
to go.
Money going out, nothing coming back
exactly.
in, right?
But,
so
and the licensing took longer than we thought. We got a little bit of a false start with the lawyers, but once we got in groove, everything went together pretty smooth.
Yeah, absolutely. So Carrolton, the first brewery in Carrolton, filling in one of the gaps there on the Georgia beer map. So how's the response been there?
Oh, it's been fantastic. The city's been great. I was a little nervous about that. When you start these things up, how's the city going to react? How's the mayor going to do? But they've been very supportive.
The mayor came out opening day.
Very cool.
Poured our first beer.
Yeah,
So,
nice.
Yeah, it was
excellent.
Great. It was great.
So you're Carrollton's first brewery. That's some big shoes to fill. That's very exciting for you guys, actually.
Yeah, we're really, really happy about it. Carrollton's really grown up in the past. Golly, 20 years ago, if you could have gone out there, there's nothing. But now they got the green belt. The square is really, really nice. A brewery. The whole business community is really excited about it. Have events there and the tasting room. So, yeah, we're psyched, man. It's exciting.
I bet it's been 15 years since I've been to
I think it's about that same time for me, too.
I had a friend that I worked with that lived out there and went out there a couple times for barbecues and that, but That was probably 15 years ago.
Yeah,
so
you should see
come
it
see
now.
the changes.
I
huh?
swear.
Oh, definitely.
I hear there's a brewery there now, so it'd be worth going.
Oh, wow,
over there,
that's
right?
interesting.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely. So you said it took a little bit longer than you wanted to. What were some of the difficulties that you weren't anticipating when you're building out and operating this?
Well, okay, so I'm a printer, right? And so I bought a lot of machinery and I bought some equipment, and I knew there'd be these unforeseen things. And when I did my budgeting on it, I put my lines. I think this equipment's going to cost this. I think the real estate's going to be this. It's going to be this. And then I added 40% as an unknown. Stuff I don't know.
Sure.
At the end of it, and we just hit that. I mean, it was
pretty
good.
good.
I put that 40% on there,
Yeah.
And so just sanitary welding. I really didn't consider sanitary welding at all. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't even think about it, and that stuff's crazy expensive, and hard. And so those little things.
Yeah.
I knew I'd have to get a forklift. I knew that kind of thing, but just these other little things I didn't anticipate. But for the most part, it's been pretty smooth. Elliot's done an excellent job setting it up. I mean, honestly.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's great to have a partner that was able to take away a lot of that from me, because I got another business to run as well. So
Right.
yeah,
And it's
Run
big.
one, start another, right?
Yeah,
There's a lot going on over there.
Now, Elliot, I know you've been in the beer business for a while. You were on the distribution side for a while, correct?
Yeah, several years. Yeah.
Several years? Okay. So what made you decide to take that jump?
So graduated from Georgia Southern and moved back to Atlanta. I had a contact who worked at a distributor, and I was like, oh, I drank alcohol. I could sell it. And,
Sure.
it's totally different, completely different. I worked my way up through the ranks. I started off-premise, throwing cases, and then I got into on-premise, and I started selling craft beer, and I became a home brewer, and just kind of realized, that's where I want to be, and started, looking into brewery ideas, and sort of, you're always drawing on the back of the napkin, and
Sure.
coming up with ideas. My fiance, we got really big into craft beer festivals and going to breweries, and really getting inside the Georgia craft beer world. And then I actually met Greg at a beer dinner I was hosting, and we started talking about breweries and craft beers. And then he called me up one day and told me his whole vision and plan. I was like,
Okay.
yeah, that sounds good. So,
yeah. I had a building that we were going to move the printing business in, just couldn't justify it, couldn't make it work. It's an old hosiery mill, and it's got the trench drains in the back and a 10-inch water main and 6-inch natural gas, and it was set up. The wet room, it's 15,000 square feet. Set up for water, and I was just wondering what I was going to do with it, and it just was fortuitous that we were able to put it together and had the infrastructure to get it done, and just decided to pull the trigger and made it happen.
So, Greg, were you a craft beer fan before this too?
I've been a home brewer for
Okay.
probably 20 years.
Excellent.
But typical home. Well, I don't know about typical home brewer. I love making things. That's why I call it manufacturing company. I love the idea of making things, and I can't. I've always got a project going. My wife, she knows there's
Sure.
always something
Yeah.
going on. So that was really the idea and the driving force behind it, that I just have been a home brewer forever, wanted to take it to that next level. Didn't even think about the building until one day it just hit me. Why don't I do this? It can work. Got the infrastructure and got everything, so we made it happen.
Well, it's funny, we've talked to some folks who own breweries, and it is a manufacturing company. You don't think about it that way, but it is. You've got raw product, you're moving it in, and you've got a finished product that you're moving out. I mean, that's
part
what
of
it is,
our
yeah.
part of my thing was in printing. It gets hammered in my head all the time, about how consistent product has to be.
Mhm.
This piece needs to look exactly like that piece, exactly like that. And so I wanted to bring that kind of discipline to the brewing side. But I think that's lacking sometimes. And Elliot bought right into it, and Brian's been a big proponent of it. Quality.
Yeah.
We want to have consistency and quality in the beer that we make.
So speaking of Brian, I noticed that you've got something tapped here, but I haven't poured it yet. It's very sad.
Yeah, we still had some from the
So
last
from last
pour,
time,
and I
yeah. So we
think
got to
can
pour this
rectify
back
that,
exactly. So what are we drinking now? What's our next step here?
So this is our everyday Cyan IPA. It's
Okay.
Quickly becoming our flagship. Pretty light malt backbone, really letting those hops shine through. It's double dry hopped with a pretty heavy dose of Mosaic, Simcoe, Cascade, and a little bit of Belma hops as well. So it's definitely kind of in the same vein as a lot of the more fruity, tropical, juicy IPAs that are coming out. I didn't want to do something that had like really assertive, overbearing bitterness. Something that's a little bit more, aromatic and flavorful. But
It can't be an IPA because it's not hazy.
Don't get Brian started on hazy.
Exactly. That's right. It can't be. It's got to be hazy, or else it can't be good. Exactly right.
I am
That's
a bit of a clarity nut. I think it's just better for
There you
product
go.
stability, flavor stability. So that was kind of in line with what Greg is talking about in
Okay.
terms of consistency. That's a big thing for me as well.
So, Brian, kind of, what's your background as far as brewing goes, and how'd you get connected up with these guys?
So I joined up with these guys about a year ago. You guys were just mentioning North Carolina. Actually, that's kind of where I came out of. I brewed at a few breweries there, and I did the Siebel Master Brewer program. So in Chicago and then over in Germany before working at a larger regional craft brewery in North Carolina, and then coming down to join these guys. So it's getting used to the Georgia beer laws has taken a little bit, but yeah, definitely. People in North Carolina complain, but there's a lot more work to be done in this state.
That's something I hear about the North Carolina beer laws changing, and I don't want to say, oh, they've got it good there, because everybody should always be looking to improve.
Oh, yeah.
But we see our laws, and good for North Carolina for continuing to push forward to continue to try and improve those things. So, it sounds like we got one of your brewers watching us here on Facebook. He said he just finished.
Is it Nick?
It is Nick.
Yes.
Nick said he just
right.
finished the next batch of Cyan, and he's watching from the brewery.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Very
Should you
nice.
get back to work and do
The
something
beer
else?
flows on.
Get back to
right?
work.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Time to watch Facebook. Time to clean. You got to clean something.
Yeah,
there you go. There you go. So cool. Just got a couple minutes left in this segment here too. You've got. Again, in Carrolton, may not necessarily be a hub of craft beer. Is there kind of an educational aspect to your tap room that you need to kind of ramp up with your customers?
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Carrolton actually is kind of not, I wouldn't say sophisticated, but there's
but when it comes to craft beer, maybe something that they're not used to. Yeah,
totally. So it is Carrolton, Georgia, and we try to educate for sure. Tap room managers going under training right now. Everybody in the place, we're trying to train all the time to be able to talk about the beer.
Excellent. Very cool. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show, beerguysradio.com. We are hanging with the guys from Printers Ale Manufacturing Company. Elliot Hall, Greg Smith, and Brian Quinn are with us. Stick around. We'll have Tim's Whale of the Week, and we'll also have the hot list and talk more about Printers Ale Manufacturing Company. We'll be right back.
This is Neil Engelman, Brewmaster, Wrecking Bar Brew Pub, and you're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
The Beer Guys are back right after this.
Hey, it's Aaron from the Beer Guys Radio Show, and we are talking about the Nest in downtown Kennesaw. Do you smell that? It is the smell of some amazing barbecue, and that's what the Nest brings to you every day. It is the destination for not only some amazing barbecue, but it's one of the best craft beer spots, OTP or ITP. So if you're hungry for some smoked wings or some fall-off-the-bone ribs, you need to be at the Nest, because you're also going to get a bunch of great craft beer. They've got a 2,000-square-foot patio so you can enjoy the outside, sipping on some Georgia brews from Creature Comforts, Jekyll, Red Brick. They've got a ton of beers, including some great beers from around the country as well. So here you go. Awesome barbecue. 59 taps pouring the best craft beer in Georgia and the world. They've got coffee and wine too, so what else do you want? It's the Nest in historic downtown Kennesaw. On Cherokee Street Northwest, check out the current beer list and menu at thenestkennesaw.com, and we'll see you there.
We are Reformation Brewery, celebrating the reformer in you. Locally crafted within the renowned Etowah watershed of Woodstock, Georgia, Reformation creates yeast-forward brews full of aroma and flavor crafted to last. Come see us in beautiful Woodstock, Georgia, for a tour and tasting of unique brews that you can't find anywhere else. Reformation Brewery. Set beer free. ReformationBrewery.com.
Here at the Beer Guys Radio Show, we love to bring you the stories behind the craft beer that you love. And we'd be grateful if you took the time to check out our Patreon site. It's at patreon.com/beerguys. If you choose to become one of our donors, you'll get some awesome swag, including t-shirts, glasses, and some stickers, too. Thanks again for listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We are really happy that you have enjoyed this show. And please subscribe, tell a friend, and head to patreon.com/beerguys. Cheers.
Ahoy there, mateys! Hunting whales? We've got you covered with Tim's Whale of the Week.
You know, Tim, I saw your Whale of the Week list, and I'm very excited for one of them that's on the list right now.
Good stuff. I think I know which one, but there's a few there.
There are a few, exactly. There are a few,
yeah,
definitely.
Kind of depends on. Do you want new or nostalgic, Aaron?
It's true. I'm an old school guy. I'm a nostalgic kind of guy.
Cool.
So what do we got?
So we got a few here. So one, a classic comes back to Atlanta. Sweetwater Exodus Porter.
Oh yeah,
this is they've got a few others that are premiering.
Sure,
I got that out.
That sounds
tasting
good.
room,
Yes,
throughout this week. Started earlier this week. So Exodus Porter being one of those. They're ESB. They're sweet. So go to Sweetwater and get them while you can. We had the Exodus Porter at 420 Fest.
I love that beer.
And it's drinking. The beer we had drank pretty good.
It drank pretty good, didn't it?
Yes,
Exactly.
it did.
Yes.
So also Monday Night Brewing and Scofflaw have West Side Funk, a Brett double IPA that they're releasing. And it's a first collaboration with a commercial brewery they've done. I say that because they collaborated.
They did.
With Reddit.
With your people, exactly.
So don't believe their press release that says it's their first collaboration. This is their second. Reddit ATL
That's right.
beer was their first.
That's right.
But that's next Thursday. The collaboration beer is coming out there, or this coming Thursday at Monday night, releasing at Monday Night Brewing.
Excellent.
So we also have tomorrow, Sunday, Wild Heaven 7, which is going to release there at their 7th anniversary. That is a Amaro-inspired strong ale.
That's interesting.
Yes. And Oak Brew Pub, first beer coming
Yes.
this weekend. Bicycle, not a typo, Aaron.
Yeah.
Bicycle Day IPA.
So I saw this on our shot list, our run of show, which we call it, and I changed it. And then I read, I'm like, no, that's actually, he spelled it correctly. And so I kind of So
right.
apparently some naming copyright
There was another beer named
going
Bicycle
on, yes.
Day, so they had to tweak it a little bit there. And also Alabama, I saw earlier this week, if you're still lucky, Mexican Cake has landed in Alabama. Landed a couple days ago, so could be gone by now.
Yeah.
But
check
it
out.
was or is out there, so go get it while you can.
Go get you some. So speaking of, just a few miles from Alabama, actually, we got Printers Yell Manufacturing, the first brewery from Carrolton, Georgia. The guys from that area came to join us today. Elliot Hall, Greg Smith, and Brian Quinn join us. Continue the conversation now. So let's talk a little bit about your beers. Now, you started before you opened the tap room. You did have some limited distribution. Was that kind of more of a testing pattern for you guys, or was this just kind of to introduce yourselves to the market?
That was really we had beer ready to go out into the market, and
Okay.
the tap room wasn't finished.
Wasn't ready,
yet.
yeah, okay.
that was
gotcha.
really what that was. But it was only about 2 weeks difference. We opened our first beer hit the market April 2nd, and we opened the tap room officially to the public on April 22nd. So 20 days.
So, are there plans for packaging, bottles, cans?
Both.
Both?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Absolutely. Definitely.
Timeline on that yet?
As soon as we can. So
Okay.
I own a packaging company, right?
Oh, well, there you go. That's convenient.
So, all right,
exactly.
there you
That's
go.
what Printed Specialties, the other company, is.
Uh-huh.
We do folding cartons and packaging.
Okay.
And that was
So you
what,
have a source for your
yeah, I
for your
can get it done.
carriers there.
I can get it
okay.
done.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was part of the whole thing. Is some of the breweries I've talked to, some owners, they say, well, the one thing I wish I would have known how complicated is packaging, but I live in that world. I've done it forever, and so I can customize our packaging on the fly, make different things for different releases. That's the pretty cool part of it, I think. That
Yeah.
we can do.
Yeah, that is nice to have
branding
that, be
is
able to do
important,
that.
and try to
Sure.
to use that.
Yeah. Now, speaking of branding, of course, we were curious to see what was behind the Printers Yell Manufacturing, but I think you answered that question.
Yeah.
It's kind of you go to your website. It's very cool. It's kind of like that kind of 50s.
Yeah.
My grandfather was an engineer, and so back in that day, and so I always see the old pictures of him in his horn rimmed glasses and the big drafting tables.
Yeah.
That your imaging and your branding reminds me of that quite a
Yeah,
bit.
so my great-great-great-grandfather was a brewer in Germany, Martin Fischer, and he started a gas house in Brunau, Germany. And his son, Carl, stowed away on a boat in 1869 to the U.S. and loved it so much, took his whole family over, sold the gas house, moved over, and became a printer. His son, my great-grandfather, Philip Fischer,
Okay.
started a business in Scranton, Pennsylvania. And Scranton is just like The Office. If you ever seen The Office, it's just like that. So we were up there for a while, and we opened a plant in Carrolton, Georgia, to service all the record companies that came down. So we've been doing record packaging, 12-inch, record labels and sleeves forever, and just know about packaging. And so that was part of that whole thing. Is we can, I can control that part of it, and we can make it work and have an advantage that way.
That's pretty cool. That's neat to have that kind of inside track to do that.
Yeah, totally.
So now one of the things that you guys are doing, and I saw this on your Facebook page, is that you're growing hops outside of your thing. Tell us a little bit about that. That's interesting. It's not something you'd think about here in Georgia.
That's part of another of those crazy projects that I like to do. And
It's like the first thing he asked me when I came out. He's like, you know how to grow hops? I was like, I'll find out.
We'll figure it out.
That's one of those things that I just like to do. I've always gardened, and I love to have that kind of feel and that thing, and I just wanted to see if it would work. And sure enough, it's working. They're coming up, and we put in, how many have we put in now? We put in 100 more? 100
No, we have
rhizomes?
60 rhizomes.
60
total.
rhizomes total?
Yeah, total. Yeah. We had 20 last year, and then we expanded. But the ones we did last year are coming back as well. And the most hop growers probably know it takes a few years for them to really, hit their maturity. And you can already tell just 1 year later, they're really, much more robust and coming back. And then the new ones are doing well, too.
Yeah. What varieties are you guys growing there?
Wilmette, Chinook, and mostly Cascade, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have, I think, a 4th or 5th year Centennial plant in my backyard, and I've got 0 cones off of it in that whole time. So I heard Centennial is literally the worst hop to try and grow in Georgia. Yeah. So now I go out there to my hop plant, and I just look at it and tell it what a disappointment it is.
Right.
Yeah. I see all these other, like I see your pictures, and the plants are going up. I go up there, I got a little 2-inch stalk. I'm like, such a disappointment. It's so bad. So.
Yeah, I got a cousin who's got a horse farm up in Rochester, New York, and I told him he's not doing anything on it. He's literally nothing. And he's like Mr. Mom. His wife works, and he sits there on the horse farm. I said, dude, you need to be growing hops up there. I mean, with AB and what they're doing and all the hops that are in demand, he's got 25 acres sitting there. Just could make serious.
Well, I mean, you think about it. I mean, we both have some upstate New York roots, and it's almost in the same parallel as Washington State, of course, with the huge hop growing areas there. I've got an old classmate of mine who runs a winery up in that area, so it's right there in that perfect climate.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be good to do that. So, yeah, definitely. So cool. We're talking to the guys from Printers Ale Manufacturing Company, Elliott Hall, managing partner, Greg Smith, the owner, and Brian Quinn, head brewer. So, Brian, I'm going to catch you mid-swing here and talk a little bit about.
We've been taking it easy on him. Just
I know we have. So
I
know exactly. So we're drinking your IPA right now. What are some of your favorite styles to brew? What do you like to do?
Well, personally, I love drinking a lot of darker beers. I love porters. I love bigger stouts. We actually just put a strong imperial stout in tank this week that we're going to be aging in some bourbon barrels for a winter release.
13.99%.
It's going to be pushing it.
There you go.
It'll be up there. I think it's not done fermenting yet, but it's already right around 12%. So we'll see what the yeast can do. But I do like the darker beers. I find that it's a little bit of a challenge to kind of get those out in Georgia. It's warm here, and people are a little hesitant to drink the big stouts in the summer. But beyond that, like as far as hop forward beers go, I really like the juicier, really aromatic ones that are less of that just like straight bitterness that we were getting from IPAs 10 years ago.
Well, that's what I don't. And that's we talk about this a good bit. When we started the show, January 2016, I didn't like IPAs, and that was before the Northeast craze really took off the way it was. So most of them I had were the West Coast styles. Yeah. Aaron didn't like sour beers, So, but as the softer bitterness, it was really that bracing bitterness of the West Coast. It's just not my thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But as you go with the more fruity hop forward beers and that, with just great beers to drink. So that's
and that's what's nice about this IPA that you guys have. It's got a little bit of that bite to it, and you still have that. But there's still enough of that malt backbone where it's not going to just kick you in the teeth.
Yeah, it doesn't wreck your palate.
Exactly. It's a really nice blend of the two. So
you were talking about your passion for clarity, and boy, this is clear as
exactly.
glass.
It is, isn't it?
I mean,
you poured that, and I was like, "Is that your IPA?" I wasn't sure. Yeah, because it's definitely clear. So that's good.
Yeah, so maybe we'll have to get frosted glasses to make it look hazy.
There you go. We'll just dump some chalk dust in there, and we'll stir it up. Exactly.
Yeah, brewers are just throwing flour in their beers to make them look hazy now.
So speaking of your beers, guys, you have 9 available right now. Is that right?
You have in the tap room, right? 9.
Yeah.
We have 9.
Okay.
So that keeps you pretty busy up there, huh?
Absolutely. I mean, some of the. We probably have about we got a double IPA and a session IPA that'll be released in the market in a few weeks. Those are brewed on the main system, but we also have a pilot system that we can play around with some more experimental stuff that'll be just taproom only.
Cool. Okay. Excellent.
You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We need to take a quick break, but we're talking to the folks from Printers Ale Manufacturing Company, and we'll be right back.
The Beer Guys are back right after this. Hey, it's Aaron, and you know what I hate? When I miss a favorite TV show and forget to DVR it. Don't let this tragic tale happen to you when it comes to Beer Guys Radio. Subscribe to us on demand. It is easy. If you've got iTunes, Stitcher, or any other iOS or Android podcast app, search for us, or go to beerguysradio.com, click listen, and you can copy and paste the RSS feed. While you're there, by the way, give us a review. It really helps. That's Beer Guys Radio on demand. Catch it today.
If you're into craft beer, you need to check out Drink This Beer. It's a podcast from the creators of Beer Guys Radio. Tim Dennis and Aaron Williams talk to some of the best and most important brewers across the country and the world. So if you like to drink beer, pull up a chair and crack open the Drink This Beer podcast. Available on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, it's Aaron with the Beer Guys Radio Show, and we are talking about the Stout Brothers Smyrna Beer Market. So let's picture this. You're getting together with the crew this weekend to just have a good time, but you don't want to go to the grocery store to get your basic craft beers, right? You want to go to the Stout Brothers, and they're going to give you some of the growlers or crowlers of the craft beer that you loved. They got a lot of cans and bottles, too, to choose from. So if you want to spend some time with the things you love, like craft beer from local Georgia brewers, Creature Comforts, Omaha Southern, Arches, Monday Night, Sewanee, so much more. They've got that. They've also got Big Green Egg stuff out the wazoo. More stuff than you can really shake a stick at. So if you want to grill this springtime season, well, this is the place to be. They've got fresh local meats, cheeses, and sides, too. So if you like craft beer, you've got to visit the Stout Brothers Smyrna Beer Market in the Smyrna Market Village. It's thestoutbrothers.com, and we will see you there. Tell them that the Beer Guy sent you.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Oh, God, here we go again. Dork alert.
And welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Check us out at beerguysradio.com. We are in the studio this week with Printers L Manufacturing Company, the first production brewery in Carrolton, Georgia.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Appreciate it. Thank you. Definitely. Now, we're sipping on a pink beer now. Which, you know, which would be kind of a fad, but I think this is actually delicious. It's your Goza, correct? Tell us a little bit more about that. That's right. So this is our Gutenberg Goza. Start it over again. I'm sorry. I was so excited about your drinks that I forgot to turn your microphone on. So
that's right. So this is our Gutenberg's Goza, and it's brewed with hibiscus and lime. So it does have that really pink fuchsia color. You guys were talking about manly beers and men ordering beers.
This
is it, right?
Absolutely. Manly beer.
But it's definitely a traditional German Goza, but a little taken up a notch with some hibiscus and some lime. And I find that these beers really appeal to a kind of a new segment in the craft market. They've been going well with wine drinkers, cocktail drinkers.
My wife's wine, and she loves it.
Yeah, if you like the flavors of hibiscus and lime, the tartness on this is really light. And like we were talking about during the break, this is something that literally you just have a little tartness there to let you know it's there, which is appealing to me. A very drinkable beer.
I do too. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
this is
not high alcohol.
Exactly. It's
get hammered.
And some Gozas, of course, will have that kick you in the teeth sourness, like some that we all know, and that's appealing for a lot of people. For me, I like the ones that are kind of more subtle, like this one, like Second Cells, for example. That it's a good, like I said, lawnmower beer. If I'm doing yard work, if I'm out there all day long, 90 degrees like it's been the past couple of weeks, I crack open a Goza after I'm done, and I'm a happy camper. That's good stuff. So that's what I really, really enjoy about this. So
absolutely,
yeah.
So guys, what's coming in the future for the brewery, for your beers? What can we expect to see from Printers L?
Well, with the brewery, we like Greg's talked about, we have such a great space out there, and we actually have a few acres and more to expand into if we need to. But right now, we've got a great setup with a nice big green lawn. We're gonna have shade spots for people to.
Some lighting issues. I don't know what's going on there. It's crazy.
I thought it was like wrap it up like the Oscars. Or something.
Exactly.
We're gonna have a disco here soon. So
So, anyways, we got this nice, big lawn area, and people have already started bringing out tents and their own chairs. It's like a tailgate spot / beer garden setup that we're trying to do.
A disc golf setup out there.
Yeah,
very
disc
cool.
Golf.
Cornhole, bocce.
It's 15 acres of land out there.
All
and
right.
when you're there, it's actually like it's in an industrial park, but when you're there, you don't even really notice.
And we have 200 parking spots too. So
nice.
I mean, you can.
Plus, you got your own hop field in the background too, apparently too, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
That sounds like a great place to just tailgate and hang out there. So
yeah.
Well, we love community. That's what it's all about, really. And it was cool when we did one of our first tours. Some people came through the brewery and they saw that we had embossed Carrolton, Georgia, on the kegs, and I had a guy come up and say, "Man, I'm so proud of that." And it is a nice community. It's one of those things that makes people proud that we're there.
It's funny because we talk about that a lot, really, from brewers. That a brewery, more than anything else, really, except maybe a high school football team, it has a really good sense of self, sense of where you are. You know, people are proud to drink the beer that was made in my hometown.
Yeah, exactly. And bringing that community together, bringing them everybody. That's what beer's all about, man. Sharing it. You talk about the homebrew. And that's what you love about the marketing and the labeling of it and taking pride in it and putting it together and sharing it. That's what I always loved about homebrew.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, we've been a lot busy now with the radio show. We have a lot of events on weekends and such, but it used to be that almost every Saturday we'd get together at my house. My garage was our brew house.
Yeah.
And we'd be brewing beer, sharing beer. We'd fire up some, fire up the grill or something like that.
Awesome.
Play some cards or Cards Against Humanity, something like that. And it was just community. The door was open. People would come in and out, and it was just kind of the hangout on Saturdays. It was a good time.
That's when you find out the friends who will help you homebrew and the ones who realize, I don't like cleaning at all.
That's it.
I'll come drink your beer.
I like free beer, though. That's exactly
a lot of
right.
people lean on the keezer and keep filling up glasses. So we happy to help with that.
Yep.
So,
Yeah. That's always key. Well, you brew so much, you got to get rid of it. Exactly.
Right?
Someone's got to get there. Exactly. So, just about ready to wrap up with the guys from Printers Ale. Now, you mentioned you have a barrel aging program, too. Are you guys starting a little bit about that? And tell us a little bit more about what you guys have coming up.
So, it is in its early phases. As I mentioned, we're going to be getting our Imperial Stout, which will be a big
13.9%.
It'll be pushing it. So we're going to get that into barrels in the next few weeks for a winter release. But we definitely want to we want to push the envelope a little bit and expand the barrel program as we go. Eventually, getting into some wild and mixed fermentation products as well.
Yeah, you've got a lot of open space out there, so maybe you can cultivate your own yeast and do your thing out there.
Absolutely,
that'll be fun. Excellent. Well, cool. How can we get a hold of you guys? If we want to keep track of the Printers Ale community, what do we need to do?
We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Printers Beer is our handle. You can find us there. We're pretty active. We try to be daily. Reach out to us. We are always watching it, so we'll respond.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Very cool. Excellent. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Elliot Hall, the managing partner, Craig Smith, the owner, and Brian Quinn, the head brewer of Printers Ale Manufacturing Company.
Thank you so much. We had a great time.
No,
Thanks,
this is a
guys.
great plan.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's go ahead and check out the hot list.
Time for the hot list. The beer guys have the scoop on what's going on next week. Brought to you by CRL Contracting. We build breweries. CRLcontracting.com.
That's hot.
So, Tim, there's a lot of stuff going on.
So much stuff.
Exactly. What do we got going on?
Season,
it
Aaron,
is.
So
it is just in time for beer drinking season.
Absolutely. So tomorrow, Wild Heaven 7. So they turned 7. They're throwing a party down there at the brewery in Decatur. So go down, enjoy some beer, check out their new 7.
Okay.
The one we were talking about earlier, one of our whales of the week. So check it out. On Thursday, we have Pint Night at Your Pie Perimeter, where they always feature a pint for only $3.14. And Arches Brewing down in Hateville has a beer and cheese event.
Nice.
And check that out. So on Friday, Red Brick Zestin Show will be releasing at the brewery. Friday and Saturday, Blue Tarp getting a little creative here. They're having a Cherries Jubilee midnight release.
I love this, by the way. This is a great idea. Yes.
Our laws say that you can serve no more than 72 ounces to someone in any calendar day.
Yeah.
So they're holding this at midnight, and they're going to have 2 events where you can go home with 2 6-packs.
Brilliant.
So you come to the event before midnight, you come to another event after midnight, and you can take 2 6-packs of Cherries Jubilee to go.
I love that so much. That's so fantastic.
Yes. Then next Saturday, Fannin Palooza anniversary party at Fannin Brewing Company. And also Saturday, we got Brew at the Zoo.
Excellent. Very cool.
How about Alabama? What's going on over there?
You know what? The folks at Trim Tab Brewing Company are going to have a Beats, Brews, and Brunch at the Birmingham Food Trucks. That's going to be through 5 p.m. starting on Sunday tomorrow. So no word if DJ Sex Panther will make an appearance or not, but I'm sure he'll probably be there.
People can always dream, right?
Exactly. You know what? I'm speaking of Birmingham. I have not heard from Piggy Smalls Barbecue in the longest time.
I hope he's okay.
I hope he's living well, Piggy Smalls. So, reach out to us if you're there. Tuesday, Taps and Apps featuring Red Hair Brewing. That's going to be at Revolve Kitchen and Brew in Birmingham, and that's from 6 to 9 p.m. on Tuesday. Jekyll Brewing tasting at the Cottage Hill Package Store in Mobile. So if you're down south, check that out, 6 to 8 p.m. And finally, Straight to Ales having a pint night at Das Stahl Beer House. I just like saying that all the time in Madison. Das Stahl Beer House from 5 to 8 p.m. And, of course, for a full list of events, check out our calendar at beerguysradio.com.
Absolutely.
There you go. And speaking of stuff, it's
stuff.
Talking about we're talking about stuff and things. I tell you what. No,
we've been struggling with some of this English stuff today.
This whole transition thing is killing me today.
Crazy.
It's time for a giveaway to give away. So who are we giving away
we
to?
We do have a giveaway to give away, and
yes.
our winner this week is Clay Baker.
Nice.
Clay, thank you so much for subscribing to This Week in Georgia Beer. Drop us an email to beerguys@beerguysradio.com, and we'll get you a super cool swag pack out. So
it is pretty cool.
Aaron,
I got to say.
what is going in the swag packs these
Well, listen,
days?
I've got
What do you
T-shirts. I've got about a case and a half of glasses, so you're going to get some glassware. You're going to get some T-shirts, some hats, some koozies, some stickers. There's a bunch of stuff up there.
And we got fancy new Beer Guys bottle openers.
We do. We're going to add those to the list as well.
Yes.
So cool stuff is that we've got you covered there. So good things in the Beer Guys world that we've got going on. So it's a lot of fun.
Sounds good. You go right ahead, Aaron.
I was starting to go into my spiel, and that was good.
I know,
So
I threw you off there asking what was in your swag pack.
You did, but it's okay. So,
Aaron, if people would like to enter to win, how would they do that?
Well, Tim, this is easy. All you have to do is go to beerguysradio.com and sign up for This Week in Georgia Beer. You'll get a weekly newsletter with all the happenings in Georgia Beer, and you'll also be entered to win our weekly swag pack. Again, beerguysradio.com. If you're on your desktop, it's right there on the right-hand side. If you're on your mobile phone, it's right there below the text. So just sign up. It is super easy and super fun. So coming up next week, we've got a pretty good show for us, too. I'm interested to talk to these guys.
We're talking to new and newer breweries.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Left Nut Brewing out of Gainesville.
Nut Brewing.
Exactly.
Great name for a brewery, right?
It is, and, we'll talk to them about that and more, so it should be fun. So we went from Carrolton to Gainesville, and we'll just kind of do the whole gamut of area here for the next few days. So, again, we're talking to Left Nut Brewing out of Gainesville next week, and Drink This Beer, we've got a podcast there. We're going to go ahead. We do, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
That we do. We've got a couple of cool stuff going on now. We've got Just Talk to the Verzette guys. That'll be coming up in a couple of weeks. We've also got
Cascade. Brewing
that's
just
right.
Came out. We talked to their head blender.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So go to Drink This Beer wherever you get your podcasts, and check that out as well. Check us out at beerguysradio.com and on the socials. And don't forget to drink local. We'll talk to you next week. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We're on demand via iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. Always online at beerguysradio.com. Aaron and Tim are back next week with more about the amazing world of craft beer. Cheers.